Yeah.
What's going on, people? Welcome to the Brandon Hover Show. It's your boy Bree. What's happening? Hover. What's up,
Yo,
Hover?
well, what's going on, man?
Oh,
How was your weekend, man?
oh man, weekend was straight, man. Had a chance to get in the gym, man, and do a little something, something, man, and
That's always good.
the body appreciated it, man.
That's what's up, man. Good, man. Good.
Yeah, man. It's all good. Nice and restful. How was your weekend, bro?
Oh, it was good, man. Rest got a good as always, man. I try to get some rest, trying to get everything together for this new move. I'm
Yeah.
getting ready to close on a new home.
Congratulations. Let's go.
Thank you.
Let's
So
go.
so yeah, man. So we trying to get everything in play. I got somebody ready to rent my townhome,
There
and
you go.
so as soon as I'm moving out, they moving in. So yeah, man.
There you go.
I can't complain, man.
That's it. That grown folk stuff there.
Yeah, man.
Grown folk stuff right there. You sell a house and move. It's one thing to move, but when you sell a house and move into another house, that grown folk business right there. Grown folk.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely,
I
man.
remember it's funny, but I remember back in the day when it was something when I got my first apartment. I thought that was it right there, man. Got my first apartment, signed the lease. I think my mom may have come up and helped me out a little bit just to make sure I signed the right thing. I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah, in Baltimore,
Uh,
Maryland, out in was it Owings Mills? No, Owings Mills was my second one. This was Randallstown. That's what it was,
yeah,
Randallstown,
yeah,
out there in Baltimore County. So yeah, man, you think about your first apartment, and when you start doing it, when you on your own, and you think you really grown then, man.
yeah, man. Yeah. I know what you mean, man. I never forget when I got my first apartment. It was like at first, it was kind of like, okay, I'm leaving home. I kind of felt, a little sad, but hell, once I got adjusted to living by myself, I was like, man,
Yeah, yeah, it's
I
great.
love it. I love it. I can make my own rules now.
Yes,
So,
sir.
but yeah, man. Yeah,
Man,
man.
what was really sobering about getting your own place for the first time when the bills started coming in. So
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Yeah,
that
once the bills start coming in,
officially a grown person.
you are officially grown. But yeah, man.
You sit down every month, and back then you couldn't get on your phone or get on an app or
Yeah,
even get on the computer back then. God, we aging now, we dating ourselves, man. But you couldn't even do that. You had to get a checkbook.
right.
A lot of kids are like, "What's the checkbook, man?" You talk to a high school kid, and you like a checkbook. They're like, "What is that?" Is that like a to-do book where you check off things?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, but no, you have a checkbook, and you pay your bills with either cash or a check, and you sit up
Yeah.
there and balance that checkbook, and you block out some time wherever you look. At least me, my little area where it was, my little business area,
hmm
and that was it, man. I got it
Man,
in, man.
but like this is interesting, man. I have to admit, man. I mean, the whole buying a home process. A lot of time people is like, "Oh man, it's stressful time. Got to go through this. I got to make check this." But at the end of the day, man, like with technology, right? Like
Hmm.
it's ridiculous. Like not to say you can still go through go and get a check and write out a check for this and that. That's always a good a good way of handling business. But
Yep.
shit, man, all my transactions has been online, man. Even from the earnest money, I didn't had to
Yep.
go. I didn't have to go and write a check and go here. Shit, man. The
Hmm.
damn place they sent me a link. Say, hey,
Yep.
register on the link, deposit.
Wow.
Put in your information, deposit, and there it is. There go your earnest
Wow.
money. So it's been
Wow.
it's been everything, and it's like I have a dashboard, right? like a
Mm-hmm.
dash, and
Mm-hmm.
it has all these different, different steps and different things you have to complete. It's just simple.
Nice.
It makes the process, you complete this, you complete this.
Yep.
Um, it's I think the most tedious part is getting all the documentation that's needed,
Yeah. Yeah.
together, your statements and all that kind of shit. But
Mm-hmm.
once you got it all ready to go, everything else, man, just moves on.
Yes, sir. You got that right, man. So that is interesting, man. There's different levels of growth. That's really you grown right there.
Yeah,
And so,
man.
but I thought it's very interesting, man. I think, I remember when I bought my first home with, I'm still here, but I remember getting my keys, man. That was one of the happiest days of my life. Called my mom and I left Bank of America. I was in the parking lot and I had my keys to my home.
Yeah,
Golly, man,
yeah.
that was just empowering.
Yeah, man, I agree with you, man. Sitting at the closing table and getting them keys, man.
Woo.
It's
Yes,
you really make you feel like I finally got my piece of the pie. So
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly, man. But hey, man, congratulations on that, Hope. I want to welcome
thank you, man.
everybody to the Bread and Hope Show. We talk everything on the Bread and Hope Show. We kind of taking it back to the old school. What we had, our show was 2 hours back then, but we talked about everything, man. Politics, stuff like what we just talked about, buying the first house, memories, sports, everything around the sun. And so that's what the Bread and Hope Show is all about. We don't just, we talk mostly sports, but whenever things is hot, things is going on, we talk about that too. So we got it. And just before this, we actually started the show on time. We just didn't record. So we actually talked politics for like 20 minutes before the show started. And so, in the state of things. And so that's worth recording one day. So we'll probably get back to that too.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining the show. Bread and Hope Show. We're gonna talk sports. We got a whole lot of things going on. Action-packed show still. We're gonna talk some basketball, a little Braves talk, and a little football. We're gonna talk that. And so, welcome to the Bread and Hope Show. We are based in Atlanta, GA. We talk about sports primarily in the state of Georgia. But wherever you are from, feel free to give us a shout and speak on it. Over what you got.
Yeah, I just want to thank the listeners and new listeners for tuning in tonight. As always, you can check out the Brad and Hope Show Facebook group. We post different things. If you're welcome to join the community, just hit us up. We'll take care of you. Also, want to give a shout out to Lou. Lou's not on tonight, but maybe he'll come on later. Uh, but Lou has been supporting us since we started. Um, and also, let's see. Yeah, also you can check out our website www.sportsandbrews.com where you can get sports content as well as beer content. All right, that's about it for the announcement.
Yeah, Lou may be in morning, man, because them Knicks, man. Woo.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
Knicks, man.
yeah. I
Ooh.
just don't, oh man, Thibodeau.
Yeah,
Yeah, I totally understand why they fired him. It's kind of hard, Brad. Those first two losses, man, that was just kind of uh, that was rough for the Knicks. Even if
yeah,
they could have got one of the, not lose both, but they, at least got one.
yeah, yeah. So I was gonna get into that later on in the show, but you started from the bottom up. So, so we can keep talking that, man. We can start from the bottom up, I guess, man. Uh, but yeah, man. Thibodeau, man, we didn't see that happen. And let me just back up a minute before we talk about Thibodeau, man, a little bit because OKC, we pretty much knew they were gonna win that and end that and win that series and end up in the championship. But I swear, man, that the Pacers were not on my bingo card in terms of making it to the championship. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Everybody thought the Cleveland was hot. They were on a burner. You thought maybe Milwaukee had a chance. You look at a whole bunch of squads that probably had a chance to get the defending champions, Boston, but
Mm-hmm.
Tatum went down.
Mm-hmm.
So but Indiana, they've been on a heater. They got hot at the right time. It's almost like a baseball team.
Right.
Everything started clicking, and going back to Tibbs, like you say, Hov, I think that Tibbs' style, he gonna get your team competitive. They built for the postseason, but they can't go far because he runs them to death.
Yeah.
He runs them down. He runs them to death, it's just not much left. When they face against other opponents that run them and just as physical as they are and deeper.
Yeah.
And so and they're not as deep as Indiana. So they came up short. But I didn't think Tibbs was going. I didn't think Tibbs was going to be fired though. I didn't see that coming. I thought they were going to give him at least one more year. Maybe see if they can add some pieces in the off season, and then come back and do it over again. Make sure you keep your core together.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I get what you're saying. I I think too they just looked at Tibbs as being, I don't know, maybe it's more so those first two playoff wins, losses rather, I'm sorry, that really kind of just put a bad a bad taste in the ownership mouth. They couldn't.
Yeah,
Maybe if he could have salvaged that some kind of way and got to the finals, I don't think he
yeah,
would have been fired. But
yeah, yeah,
he, you know what I'm saying? It just kind of, that one just really
yeah,
just made it kind of difficult.
yep, yep. It makes sense to me. Makes a whole lot of sense to me. They make it to the finals. They probably would have saved this job. But New York was in the fervor, man. When they got to the Eastern Conference Finals, man, you'd have thought that they made it to the to the championship. The whole city was alive. They haven't been that deep in a long time. So, like that, and they thought this was it. And you run into a buzzsaw, which is the Indiana Pacers, and they just couldn't recover, man. Bronson wasn't playing no. He was a defensive liability, and they found a defensive package and locked him up eventually. And Hart couldn't. He wasn't consistent enough. So he wasn't a factor, and so it's a lot of players that they had that just really were not consistent scoring the ball, and
Yeah.
then even the defense started to falter. So it's like, man, and then Halliburton, he started distributing, and they started getting points from Nesmith and all these other guys, these role players, and they were just a deeper team, man. And I think that the coaching was just great. All the rotations that the coach had,
Yeah.
some nights it was a
I
little bit
mean,
something
I
happened, but
mean,
it was
I
good.
mean, but too, there was some luck. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, there was some luck with that lucky bounce. The
Oh
lucky
yeah,
bounce
was that
win.
game one?
Yeah, the lucky
Yeah,
bounce, the lucky bounce win, uh so Indiana had a little bit of help.
yeah, but and I agree. Even if they lose that game, they probably still win in like 7.
Mhm.
Um, I just think they were just a better team than New York overall. I think New York came in strong, but I think what I noticed is as the series progressed, Indiana kind of stayed steady, but New York, they got weaker as the series progressed.
Uh
Look
but
like
I
they
did
started getting tired or something, man.
but I disagree with you though. I think
Mm-hmm.
if they had to go in 7, because they would have had to come back to New York. I think if it had to go 7, I think New York would have took it. I think New
Yeah,
York probably would have took it if they had to go 7.
yeah.
Um, you know, I
But it
mean,
would,
look,
but
look at the bounce, but
that means that Indiana would have had to. They'll probably like lost 2 straight games. I don't know if they're gonna lose 2 straight. They haven't lost 2 straight games in the whole series.
hmm,
So it was just, I don't know, man. Yeah, it was a lucky bounce. That's part of the game. That's part of the game.
right, right,
And even with that lucky bounce, New York still had a chance to beat them at home, and they did.
yeah,
And
yeah,
they should have, even though they went to overtime, I think when you go to overtime, the advantage goes to the home team still, or should go to the home team.
Right.
And them cats got the overtime. They just couldn't beat them boys in overtime. They should have found a way to win. They should have found a way to, and that's the Tibbs thing. They should have found a way to kind of win that game in overtime.
Right.
You know, but then they were up, but they let them come back. It's like, man. Y'all up 20 points, 14, and they still came back on.
But you remember I told you I felt like Indiana was going to be that team that, you know, could give them a run for their money, man. You know, I always kept, saying Indiana just that team that just don't want to go away. You know, they get hanging in there, and then they just find ways to win, and that's how they beat the Knicks. But you're right, though. I mean, I think overall, Indiana, I think they just played a game of basketball than the Knicks.
Yeah.
And they were pretty balanced on the bench.
They were, man.
More so than, you know, what the Knicks weren't really getting, if any, from any off the bench. You know, they went the bench wasn't really that contributing but outside of Robinson.
Yep.
You know, outside of Robinson, the other motherfuckers wasn't doing much of nothing. So
there you go. That was the crux of the problem. You know, and especially when they went on the road, man, they weren't doing shit on the road.
Yeah,
they wouldn't do absolutely nothing on the road.
Right.
And that hurt. And you know, in the home games, with the exception of maybe one of the games, you know, it was rather close. So I don't know, man. I mean, you still got to get better. You know, with New York, you got to put the right pieces together. You know, I wouldn't blow it up though. I mean, I think that maybe you, in my opinion, I mean, if you still had Tibbs, I think you work on your bench. That's a cheap thing. I mean, that's something that's realistic. You just get a better bench.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you draft some guys, make sure they get some playing time, get a better bench, and maybe some of these guys will work their way into the starting rotation.
Right.
Yeah, you go deeper and keep your guys healthy, and you roll with Tibbs one more year. But they were impatient, man. I think that move to get rid of Tibbs, man, I just think that they were just impulsive, impatient, and just emotional about it because they soured that they lost in the fashion that they did against the Pacers. And they were not able to get back to New York so that they could, you know, do their thing, you know, cheer the team on and, you know, do their thing, man. I think that the media, for the most part, I think it's just the world against New York, man. Because, I mean, New York really don't need a whole lot of pub, but they get it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't need no promotion, but they get free promotion from the networks anyway, at least from ESPN they do.
Right.
And that's all you see, you know. And you turn to Saturday Night Live, there are some other shows, man, that's all they talk about it. And I get it. You know, that's the home team. You know, if you want to call it one of the capitals of America, it would be New York. You know, all the propaganda machine was pumping, and that's what they got. You know, Indiana is just another part of Americana. You know, and you know, they just trugging along, man. Last time we saw Indiana in the championship, with Reggie Miller on the team, and they got beat down from Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Yeah.
Shaq and Kobe had to do beat down like 5 or something like that.
Right.
It was man. I mean, but Indiana had a great team with Reggie Miller and the Davis boys and all these cats.
Mm-hmm.
That was a squad. They finally got past New York. And sheesh, man. I mean, you can't win for losing, man. They come out of that series, and you know, here's your reward. You catch Shaq and Kobe. Good luck. Yeah, man. And Shaq and Kobe, them guys was on a heater that year, man. Whew. One of the best Lakers teams I've ever seen. But, best. Obviously, the best team you've seen outside of when Magic was playing.
I agree.
Magic and Kareem. Jesus.
I agree.
You know, but yeah, man. So you fast forward, man, and you got OKC against the Pacers, man. So let me say this, man, before I get into the game, is that I'm not happy with the NBA on a couple things. number one, is taking too damn long for game one.
Right.
I get it, players have been through some series, but and it gives them a chance to rest some and lick some wounds and all that kind of stuff and to get healthy. So cats, got some knick-knack injuries. They got a chance to get healthy, get them some rest, and be ready for the game tomorrow night. I get that part. But as a fan, man, you want to get it going, man. You ain't, it's like you got momentum and you want to keep it going. Now these things are going to start Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Almost a week later.
Right.
Almost a week later, you're going to start this thing. And once you have game one, they're like 2 games in between. They're like 2 days in between each game. That's too much, man. That's just too much, man. I'm sorry, but I can't get with that, man. That's just too much.
I agree.
That's too much. That's too much time, man. You lose, and it's like this thing's gonna be like 2 weeks before you find a champion, especially if it goes 7 games. I think NBA is making them. And Hova, what's worse is that they're not marketing. I don't think they're doing a great job marketing this game. I see a whole lot of promotions on it. They too busy talking about the Yankees, and the Dodgers, that kind of thing and other stuff. Baseball, you got softball games, Oklahoma, and all these folks. And so ESPN is all over, and the marketing is all over the place. And they're just not really marketing the NBA championship because there's no LeBron, there's no Luka, there's no Boston, there's no New York. There's no KD, there's no Steph Curry. And so you got rising stars in the game. And they're not doing a good job in marketing their stars of the league. LeBron can't play. LeBron about to go. He out the door. LeBron got one foot out the door, and the other one about to come out right behind.
I agree.
Steph can't get it right in the post. He can't. He got hurt. KD, he ain't doing jack. He's scoring, but that's it. His teams ain't going nowhere. And so you got to support and rally around these stars of today. You got to rally around your Trae Youngs. You got to rally around your Halliburton. You got to rally around, your SGA. Mr. Alexander. You got to rally around these guys, man. These young upcoming guys, because for the next 5 years, that's who it's going to be about.
Right.
And if you don't pick it up and market these guys in time, NBA going to lose. And we talked about it last week when the NBA is going to start having these games on these holidays and Christmas, and you want people to tune in. Like, man, you got to promote OKC and the stars. You got to promote the Pacers and Halliburton and these guys. You got to promote these up and coming stars, Trae Young. You got to, all of these guys coming up. You got to promote them. And if not, I mean, especially for the casual fan, you're gonna lose against the NFL every time. So the NFL, like, we're not worried.
Yep.
We're not worried. No, y'all day. Who says that it's your day? No, we gonna come in and we gonna play whenever we get ready, and nothing you can do about it.
Yep, you're right. You're right, bro.
That's the NBA problem, and really, I take it back in terms of I'm not blaming ESPN per se, because all the NBA got to do is just rock. My NBA's got to do more in terms of, hey guys. I got to market them. I mean, hell, they're going to play on ESPN, so you got ESPN and ABC, and every chance I get, I'm going to be marketing this game every chance I get.
All right.
Every chance I get. But it's just like, shoot, man, I haven't seen much of anything, man, marketing this game. Very little. Very little, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree, man. And I don't know if it's because of the makeup of each team and the players, they're not that charismatic or what, but something. I agree with you. It definitely hasn't been promoted.
No, no. Game has not been
But
promoted.
and then the other thing too is like you said. I mean, damn, let's get a game. This shit is so it's kind of made me think about soccer,
Mm,
MLS. You get a
mm.
game on a Saturday, and then you don't play again until 2 weeks later. Be like, damn,
Right, exactly.
y'all just
And
taking
then,
me and you just
yeah, it's crazy. You're right. It's and then you get a stint where you play like 3 games in 8 days, and your team ain't rested. Then they gone for another 2, 3 weeks.
like
Like,
it's like shit.
what is this, man?
Yeah, man. I know. I never understood that. But that's what I like about the NFL
Yeah,
and college
yeah,
football. You know what you're gonna get it week in and week out. There's only so many games in a season, and yeah, they have a little bye week, but that's what I like about it. I think that's why everybody likes it. It's not so spaced out with the games,
yeah,
and they don't play a shitload of games. But
yeah, yeah.
um, yeah.
I mean, NBA is king, man. I mean, NFL is king, man. NFL is king.
Yeah.
Uh, and Siakam is balling out, man.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that dude is Siakam is balling. Ain't nobody had no answer for this cat all series, man. And so that'll be a great matchup to see. And they just need to do a better job in marketing. This guy's been around. He's a veteran, and so he won a championship with Toronto. Almost came to the A, man, but we couldn't make that deal happen. Plus, they didn't want to come to that anyway. But that's the business. He made the right decision. If I can get it, obviously he made the right decision. Because there's no guarantee if Atlanta had Siakam with Trey Young that we make it to a championship. That's what it's all about, making it to a championship, not just postseason.
yeah.
And so with Siakam, do we make it? I don't know that we do. I
Yeah.
don't
I'm not.
know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know if the Hawk. Yeah. And so he's averaging 20 points a game, man. Siakam 7 rebounds. And he's been balling. But on the other side of it, man, you got Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, averaging 33 points a game, man. I mean,
Right.
this dude is a beast. 6 assists, turnover is not high. And so he's really been earning his keep as the MVP. So you hope that he stays healthy. You
Mm.
hope you hope that everybody stays healthy because you want to see a good series. Nothing. I mean, regardless of how you feel about a team, you don't want players to get hurt.
Hmm.
You want to
Yeah.
see them at their best going at it.
Yeah. His game. He reminds me the way he plays, kind of like Isaiah Thomas.
Mm, interesting.
That's yeah, kind of
Mm,
like Isaiah. You know,
yeah,
plays like a little bit of Isaiah Thomas.
and that's a huge compliment because I think Isaiah Thomas is arguably the best point guard of all time,
Yeah.
at least top three. I'm just saying.
He's damn so close to it, man. I
I
mean, if you
mean,
watch him,
he's probably if you anybody, I mean, you can say Jerry West and all these other cats, man, that come around, but I mean, he was not my favorite player growing up by any stretch of the imagination. He played for Detroit, and me being a Hawks fan, I did not like him at all growing up. Hurt my Hawks in the game, Keith, I don't want to relive that. But at any rate, for what I've seen him and some of the tapes from some guys that preceded him, man, he's arguably just the best to ever do it, man. Played defense both sides of the court, inside game, outside game, hard stop, knew how to get to the line, high IQ, assist. I mean, everything. If you say, all right, this is what a point guard is, you flip up Isaiah.
I
Textbook,
agree.
a
Yeah,
textbook point guard. That's Isaiah.
yeah, absolutely.
That's Isaiah Thomas, man. So that's great. That's shit. I want to pull up some old Isaiah film now.
Yeah,
But
man. Yeah, check it out, man. I mean, I was just noticing his style of play, man. Damn sure remind me of Isaiah a lot.
yeah,
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 a
damn
lot of
good
what he, a
example.
lot of what he doing. I mean, um, shit.
Yeah, yeah, man. A lot of what he's doing is very similar, man. So,
Hmm.
think about OKC, and we talk some more about them, but they have an excellent defense, man, stifling defense. And so, if Indiana thought that New York's defense was tough, this team's better.
Right.
So, the thing about New York, they play that tough defense, but it wouldn't last for a full game because Indiana would come back in the fourth quarter every time.
Yeah, yeah. I think yeah, it's gonna be a good series, but I think it's all about matchups.
Mm-hmm.
And OKC, they're big. They got some height.
Yeah.
Um, and Indiana, I don't think they're gonna match up well with that.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough, man. I mean, I know they're athletic and they got Halliburton, which I mean, and Siakam, which is gonna be a tough cover. I think he's a
Yeah.
mismatch for anybody. But I just think with that height and that depth, man, I think they got a bench, man. I think both of them got benches. This is gonna be something to see. Both of them got benches. Both of
Mm-hmm.
them got good defenses. You got go-to players on both sides, good coaching. I mean, this game. I mean, with that, if everybody stay healthy and do their thing, this series should go 7 games.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This series should go 7 games, man.
I agree with that.
But
I
I
agree
don't
with
know, man. I'm going with the odds makers, man. I'm not going against OKC in this one, man. But shit, man. I mean, Indiana's on a burner, man. It's hard to bet against Indiana when you see them play because they just on a burner, man. But OKC, man, they just don't have any weaknesses. When they lose, it's just because they had a bad day. Not because you had a good day, they had a bad day. But if they
that.
got a
Right.
good day and you got a good day, if both of y'all got a good day, OKC finds a way to win even when you have a good day.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's the heartbreaking thing if you're the opponent. So
Yep. Yep.
so yeah, who you got in that series?
I'm gonna go with OKC. I think it's gonna be a competitive series, but I like OKC.
Yeah, yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Tyler Burton, but I just feel like Shy is a better point guard.
Mm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
Mm-hmm.
gonna make the difference of this
Yeah.
series.
Yep.
And interesting enough, I felt like Tyler Burton was better than Bronson, which you
He was.
he
He really
was.
was. He really was. I mean,
Yeah.
he really was, man.
I mean, by I mean,
Nothing against Brunson,
nothing
but
against Bronson, but I just
but
felt like,
yeah, Halliburton was he was. I mean, he was that guy. Like Mama, there goes that man,
mm-hmm,
and so he was that guy, and he shined in big moments more so than Brunson. Brunson wasn't shining in big moments. And big moments came, man.
yeah.
He was just
I
throwing
just
up
don't
stuff and
think
flocking.
they didn't match up well. I mean, not taking nothing from Bronson, but you know, Halliburton is what? How tall is he? What, 6'5" or
Something like that. Yep,
somewhere in
six
there?
four, 6'5".
6'5". Yeah, I
Six
know he's
five.
taller. He's taller than Bronson,
Yep.
and that's why I say when he goes up against Shy, because I think Shy is like 6'6",
Yeah.
playing point. So that's why I say I think it'll be a little bit be a
Oh,
little
it's
bit
gonna be
more
different. Yeah,
different
yeah,
for him.
yeah. I mean those matchups are gonna be they're gonna be different, man. I mean
Hmm.
they're gonna be different for both of these guys, man. I mean,
Hmm.
I still think that Ant-Man was hurt though. I mean, he got hurt the series before, man. That's why he was kind of weird. But
Mm.
I just
Yeah.
I just think he was hurt, man. Yeah, but I'm not saying that it would have been a different outcome.
Hmm.
Uh, but I'm just saying that he was hurt, man. I don't think that he was himself and he was struggling to kind of get through it. But
Yeah,
he ain't gonna say nothing. You know,
right,
he ain't gonna say nothing.
right.
But yeah,
That's true.
but Shy man, Shy 6'6", man, and that you got a 6'6" point guard, man. That's tough on anybody, and especially when they
Hmm.
got game like him. That's gonna be tough. Halliburton's he's 6'5", 6'5", 6'6". What's an inch? They basically the same height.
Right,
In the basketball world, they the same height.
right.
But Brunson's like 6'2", 6'3", or something like that. 6'2",
Something
six
like that.
three,
Yeah, yeah,
6'2". And
yeah. I think he's about like Trey Young height.
yep,
Eh,
yep.
Maybe,
I think
maybe a
I
little
think Trey like 6'3", right?
somewhere in there. Yeah, maybe a
He
little
ain't no
taller than
taller.
Bronson, but Bronson like 6'2", maybe.
Yeah. But it's funny you mentioned Trey. I think Trey Young and Halliburton got a very similar game.
Mm,
I think both of them just got very, very similar games, man. When I see Halliburton play, Trey got a lot more mustard than Halliburton. I think that when it comes to assists, he's the assist leader in the whole league.
hmm.
But and he's got more range than maybe Halliburton. But I mean, when the team needs them, man, they know how to pull out them points.
Right.
Both shoot three very well. Know how to get the right teammates involved. So yeah, a very similar game, man. Just one just tall enough. But yeah, I agree, Ho. I think I think this is gonna be a great series, man.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I think it's gonna be a
yeah.
great series. I just hate that it's just so much time in between games, and I'm just kind of over it at one point, man. I'm just like, and I guess you get into a nice cadence after a while with these games in terms of, I'm used to these 2 days instead of one
Mm,
day because with the they play every other day in the
hmm.
previous series. They play every other day, but
Right,
for the fan experience, you had a game every night.
right.
So you go from a game every night to cold turkey for about a week. Cold turkey, no basketball for about a week, and all of a sudden they're gonna pop up like we here. Let's go. Then that thing, they're gonna go to sleep for like 2 days and they're gonna be back. We back. I don't know, man. NBA gotta do better on this, man. I don't know, man. NBA just if I had to rank them over, I think NFL number one in terms of fan experience, and notwithstanding, now they went back a little bit. Now they got to clean up them Thursday night games. Now they got to clean them up. They had a lot of duds on Thursday night, and
Yeah.
and they had them on these streaming channels and stuff, man. And they trying new stuff. I get it, but I still think NFL is king here, man. The NFL is
Yeah.
king with uh, college football playoffs being, college football being a strong number two.
Hmm. Hmm.
And shit, I don't know who number three. I think hockey may be number three, man. I think the fan. I mean, everybody I know says that the fan experience. I don't watch it regularly, but everybody says that the fan experience is just so great, and how they got the game spaced out and how they market it. So, I'm hearing that they may be a good strong three, man, and then there's everybody else. So, and baseball is just blah.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Yeah.
which, man, them Braves are just Jesus. Jesus, make it,
Yeah,
make
they.
it, make it stop.
Yeah, man. I don't know what to say about
I don't
them.
know what to say about them.
You
Hoes.
know, Braves always been that team that. How can I put it? Later in the season, they tend to start playing better. I don't know why they start. Um, they start out slow and just. Um, but they tend to do better as the season later on in the season for some reason.
I hope so, man, because they look like shit right now. Excuse my French, but
Yeah, yeah.
they
Well,
they 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 are just such a frustrating team to watch. They just frustrating, man. I mean, the Falcons frustrate you with the play because they lose games they should win, but that's the same thing, man. The Braves have lost so many one-run games. I think they lead the league in stranding players on base. They just are maddening, man. Jeez, man. And so because the bats are still kind of cold, and the base running, they had some blunders for the past couple of weeks, man. They used third base coach, um, you know, as a scapegoat. So they sent him, they reassigned him somewhere.
well, well,
And we got
they,
Freddie Gonzalez back.
yeah.
Yeah, so
I don't know about all that.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
So, and as Braves fans would recall, or baseball fans who recall, Freddie Gonzalez used to be the Braves manager for a time. So for all that's worth, but I'm not really that surprised because he and Brian Snitker are buddies. That's his
Yeah,
homie.
yeah.
That's his homie, and so that's just kind of where they are, man. It's just Braves are just really not. It's really not getting it done, man. It's really not
No,
getting it done, and it's they
no,
can't get the line. They can't get the lineups right. The hitting is off. Matt Olson looks like crap. Acuna's had his moments. He's doing what he can, but the problem with the Braves, I think they get on base, but they can't bring anybody in.
yeah. That's the problem.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
getting on base, they're getting some hits, and if they had more timely hitting. I mean, these guys, man, they all these little one-run games we've been losing, we've been winning, be in first place by now, or at least challenging for first place.
right, right.
So this is just bad, man. This is. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, they do this every year. I mean, but I don't know. I don't know if it's been as frustrating as this, though. Hov. I don't know, man.
Yeah, something. I agree with you, man. Something got to change. No doubt about that. Um, you know, they gotta they gotta start getting some runs, timely hits. Uh, I don't know, man. I think I've always said this, Brad, about the Braves. I always just felt like everybody's just going for the wall.
Yeah.
I never known this team to play small ball.
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
known us to just get timely hits. When the last time you actually saw a player come up to the plate in a bunting situation, or hell, even just a bunt? When the last time the Braves actually told a batter
I really ain't
that they
seen
could
anybody.
bunt?
They ain't
No,
seen anybody bunt
to
really.
bunt.
Seen
That's what
anybody bunt really.
I'm
But
just.
but but
I'm
but I,
saying.
but I,
That's
I
what I'm saying. I mean,
yeah
anything to get a spark, man. We're
yeah
not doing any of it's just like
yeah.
everybody come up to the plate and go for the long ball.
Yeah, exactly. And with the
And
hitting
then, and
coach,
every time, for some reason, we play with that same mentality,
yeah,
and it goes into the damn postseason, and you see what happens.
yeah,
Everybody
you're
going
right.
for the wall again.
Everybody go to the wall in the postseason. It's about manufacturing runs, man. That's the game of baseball.
Man, one of the things I'm gonna tell you, what's the guy, Tony Gwynn?
Mm-hmm.
Man, yeah, he was like the master at putting the ball into play.
Yeah, yeah,
He would even, I mean, granted, he might got a home here and there, but most of the time, that motherfucker would get doubles and singles.
yep,
When you really needed somebody to come up the bat and just get a hit.
yep,
I'm not talking about a fucking home run. That's what I'm saying. I'm missing, the Braves missing that type of guy that just put the ball in play, just get a hit, just get a base hit.
yep,
Why we got to get a home run every time we come up the plate?
yeah,
If it ain't a home run, it's not a hit. Let's get out of that mentality of that. Just get it. Just get timely hits. Hell,
yep,
even signal a motherfucker to do a bunt, do a squeeze play, a double, whatever just get back to the basics of baseball, man. I think you can win more games than
Yeah,
everybody going to the plate trying to hit a home run. That's what the problem. I mean, that's what I think. That's the problem with the Braves. Everybody tries to go up and damn near trying to knock the ball out the park.
that's it. That's it. I agree 100% with you on that one, man. I mean, that's been the MO. And that's been, when we got hot, had that hit a couple of years ago, man, it's like, okay, everybody went for the fences and we was scoring runs. Like, I don't know what, we couldn't help but hit home runs that year.
Yeah,
And when you went to the postseason and the pitching got better and got stiff, the only way you knew how to manufacture runs was hitting homers because you led the league in homers.
right.
But shoot, when the bats went cold, you didn't know how to peel
Adjust.
back and
Yeah,
adjust and hit some singles and doubles, get some people on base and knock them in.
right.
That's how the Braves need to be built. So you got to get you some players that can get you some hits and some sound defensive guys. It's not even talking about defense.
Yeah, man. I
That's
mean,
another
that's
discussion,
that's
right?
that's 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 the that's baseball. Timely hits, good defense. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, I even said I think I was talking about one team. They went far into the postseason. I said, well, shit, man. One thing I noticed, they know how to play small ball. They know how to get up there
yeah,
and bunt and put the ball in play. They're doing things that the other team not doing.
yeah, yeah,
And it seems like they've been practicing, working on that shit during the season. So that's all. Don't get to the postseason trying to figure that shit. Work on a little
yeah.
small
Right.
ball game.
That's it. You got to work that. You got to work that out like now.
Yeah.
You got to work that out like now, man. That
I
small
mean, but
ball,
that's
man. You got to.
that's one of the thing. That's what I said. That's one thing I noticed with the Braves. I haven't seen is the Braves doing that. I don't know why. I don't know why they don't. You know.
Yeah.
Um.
But I mean, but the batting averages, you look at the batting averages of these guys, man. I mean, that ain't nothing to write home about, man. I mean,
Mm-mm.
and some of the defense. I mean, Allen, he batted 233, but he was shortstop. But man, we need a shortstop who can lead off, man. Yeah,
Right. Right.
I don't know. These guys are batting like in the hole, like at the bottom of the lineup, you know. And you got, Money Harris trying to clean up, at the bottom of the lineup. I don't know
Mm.
about this lineup, man, And so you got, like tonight, you got Ronald Acuna Jr. leading off, Austin Riley, Matt Olson, sorry ass. You got Ozuna cleaning up. Then you got the middle of the lineup. You got Ozzy Albies, Verdugo, Sean Murphy, which he get hot every now and then, man. But hell, he only batting 218. You think he was back more than that, but he's
Right.
not.
Right.
Allen and then Harris cleaning it up. So I don't know, man. It just this I don't know. And Ozuna's been kind of like the most consistent hitter that we've had on the entire team. And other than Ronald Acuna being, the man, he's batting 341. And he's short stint back. But Ozuna's batting 277. So he's got number 2 on the team. But hell, without that, we didn't even have a 300 average batter. We didn't have a batter above 300 before Acuna got back. Austin Riley, he hit 272.
Right.
But jeez, man, gosh, man, this team is just so frustrating, man. It's just,
Well, hopefully,
I don't
man,
know.
if they can't turn around before the All-Star break, hopefully they'll turn that. They tend to turn shit around after the All-Star break.
I hope so.
At
I
least
hope
I
so, man.
mean that's
I
usually been
hope
the
so.
pattern.
Hope so, man. Get to the All-Star break, man, and get you some much needed rest or woodshed practice or whatever you got to do to get this thing on track. Because right now, man, it's just, it looks like they won't even make it to the postseason at this point.
Right.
I mean, I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. So I don't know, man. And you look at the Matt Olson trade, hindsight 50-50, but like, hey, you should have messed around. That wasn't gonna kill us to make that 6-year deal with Freddie Freeman based on what he was asking. We could have done that. Freddie would still been here, and he would have been the guy that helped carry you. But they let Freddie walk and get up out of here. So I don't know, man. And speaking of the pitcher, Spencer Strider, he trying to find his way. He looking like boo boo. So he's been hurt, and then we got it back. Then he popped his hamstring, then came back. Now he can't locate his pitch. So he's
Yeah,
please, man.
yeah. They
I don't know, man.
well,
I
like I
can't
said,
talk.
let's hope that after the break that they can turn this thing around.
Yep. Real quick, man. SEC, little SEC talk, man. Just a little bit. So there's always talk about adding an extra game, an extra conference game for the SEC, moving from 8 games to 9 games. All right. So ESPN is knocking on the door about doing, because it's all about money. I think we talked about this a little bit before. All about the money, that kind of a thing. And it's like, all right, we know what it is. But what I want to talk about is if it moves to 9 games, then what will be those 3 rivalry teams for the Bulldogs? I mean SEC rivalry teams, because I'm not talking about that excludes Georgia Tech.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and I almost posted. I'm going to post something in Brandon Hover Show tonight. What I saw, somebody put together a spreadsheet, believe it or not, of all the SEC teams and all of their rivals. Matter of fact, I can hold up. I pull it up while I'm talking.
I mean, I always felt like South Carolina might be a rival, and
well,
yeah, I mean, hell, you could throw. Of course, at this point, you might could throw Texas in that shit.
yeah,
Alabama.
Right. So for Alabama, for instance, their number 1 rival is Auburn. Number 2 rival is LSU. Number 3 rival is Tennessee. All right. So you go to Florida, their number 1 rival is Georgia. Their number 2 rival is LSU, and their number 3 rival, South Carolina. Really? Interesting.
Maybe Tennessee. Maybe Tennessee.
Right. And so this is the kicker. I'm gonna give you 2 schools. I'm gonna give you South Carolina, then I'm gonna give you Georgia. This is gonna be interesting, man. All right. So South Carolina number 1 rival in the I'm gonna let you guess. That's what I'm gonna do. Who is South Carolina's number 1 rival, do you think?
Probably
in the conference.
In the SEC?
In the SEC, who is their number 1 rival? I mean, for South Carolina fans, on South Carolina side.
Georgia.
If you talk to South Carolina, they can be like, well, who's your number 1 rival? They're gonna say who?
I don't know, man. I guess I'll take a guess, and from the SEC, maybe Mississippi State.
Well, for South Carolina, their number 1 rival, they say their number 1 rival is Florida.
Okay.
I don't get it, but that's what they say. And they close, and their number 2 rival is obviously what you said earlier was Georgia.
Yeah.
I got something to say about that, but I'm gonna just let it roll. And their number 3 rival is Missouri.
Missouri.
So
that's interesting.
It's very interesting. So South Carolina's number 1 rival I don't think Florida even touches the state. So it's not a cross thing rival. You know,
Mm,
it's not a county line or a state line rival,
right.
not a border rival. So that's weird. That's the same thing you can say about Missouri because they're even further away. So I don't understand where that comes from. Although they have some good game, they got Georgia.
Hmm.
So let me go to Georgia. They got Georgia's number one rival being Auburn. I get it.
Right.
We get oldest rivalry in the SEC. I get it. I mean, it ain't bitter rival, but we just been playing each other so long. That's just what you do.
Right.
The number two rival for Georgia is Florida.
Mm. Yeah.
I beg to differ. I think it's more hate between Georgia and Florida than Georgia and Auburn. I probably have my list. I would have Florida number one, but I go to my list next. And the third one is South Carolina. South Carolina keeps popping up on folks' rival lists, which I don't understand. I don't get it. But so my thoughts just real quick, Hope,
Hmm.
is South Carolina's not even in my top three. I would have Florida being Georgia's number one rival because they just hate each other.
Hmm.
I think Auburn is number two. And hell, I put Tennessee number three over South Carolina.
Okay.
I just think it is, but I think because of recruitment war. And I think we fight over the same guys, and really the guys that don't make Georgia end up going to Tennessee. So it's
Right.
like everybody want to prove themselves,
Right.
and so I just don't see the South Carolina thing. I know the South Carolina sees us that way. After going up to South Carolina a couple of times, South Carolina, yeah, man, we playing Georgia. Oh, okay. Yeah. Now, I know South Carolina plays us tough because we Georgia. And they
Right.
look at it as a rival and they play us tough. And so, all right, we got South Carolina, man. That's going to be a tough one. But, whatever. We still expect to win. I don't see South Carolina no different than Kentucky. What that means is I know both Kentucky and South Carolina gonna give us their best. They're gonna play us tough, but I
Right.
expect to win both games.
Yeah, I can see that.
I just expect to
Yeah.
win both games because that's what we've always done.
Right.
But I don't consider it a rival. We're gonna have some good games. We've had some good games, but I just don't see it. Now they may say because it's cross state rival, because the states are right next to each other. Maybe that's South Carolina thing, but I just don't get it, man. So I just don't get it. But I know people from South Carolina that are South Carolina fans, and they think that Georgia is like their number one nemesis. Like, I don't get it. But I don't get it, man. If we don't never play South Carolina no more, man, I'm cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
But if we don't play Florida, I got a problem. I look forward to playing Florida every single year, and sometimes twice in 1 year if we could. Boy, I like playing Florida, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Woo, that's a rivalry right there, man.
Now that is there. That is a rivalry. No doubt about that.
And the Auburn game is not as intense as it's been in the past because Auburn hasn't been really good.
Right.
And that's disappointing because hell, we got more of a rivalry with Alabama than we do Auburn. If you want to tell the truth,
Yeah.
I mean, past couple of years, I mean, especially with Kirby coming. I mean, he's a Georgia guy, but he won championships under Saban in Alabama, been a defensive coordinator, and beating Georgia in the process. Then coming back to coach Georgia. Tell me that ain't enough for a rivalry. We just don't play it. The problem with Georgia and Alabama is that we just don't play enough. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
But whenever we do play, man, it's must see TV.
This is true.
That's me. I think Georgia, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Georgia, LSU is for me.
Yeah. I agree with you, man. I agree. I agree with those.
Those are some powerful games right there. Must see TV. But we just don't play each other. The only time we usually see each other is either in the playoffs or SEC championship. not the regular season. That's the problem.
Right.
Yeah, so I just want to throw that little tidbit in there, man. Just I saw something on social media. I thought it was very interesting, so I'll post it in the Brandon Hope Facebook page, man, and so everybody can kind of see and kind of debate what that stuff is, man.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, so real quick, man, rest in peace, man, to Loretta Swit, man. I don't know if you guys remember Loretta Swit from MASH. These call her Hot Lips on there, aka the blonde chick. I don't know a lot of bros who watch MASH, but but I was, I kind of hated it as a kid, but as I got old, I kind of watched it, and I really watched it a lot because with my mom, it'll be on that television channel, and I'd sit there with her, and I just sit there and watch episodes of MASH.
Right.
Next thing I'm watching MASH. So I mean, you always knew about it, but unless you're too lazy to get up and turn television, then you just watch the whole episode. But yeah, man, rest in peace to Loretta Swit. Of MASH, man, because there's a lot of those actors are still living, but they starting to kind of leave us.
Yeah, because I think they are. I think Alan Alda. I think he's still around.
He's still around, man.
Yeah, I think he's like, he's like 89.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He's still around, man.
Yeah, he's still hanging in there.
And they, because they had Me TV had a special MASH anniversary or something, and him, Alan Alda, and it was a couple others, about two more of them. I forgot the other guys, but two more of the other guys, maybe three of them, still living. Just talking and reminiscing, man.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's good to see these guys still around, man. But MASH is one of the all-time great shows in television history. A lot of running episodes. It was kind of the first of its kind. You always had McHale's Navy and Gomer Pyle and all the military comedies and stuff. And McHale's Navy. I said McHale's Navy. It's one of them I'm missing.
Yeah.
But at any rate, one of the ones, and probably one of the last ones that was out in terms of the military comedy behind the Vietnam War. And even though it was a serious business, the Vietnam War, they found some humor in it with the doctors and everything like that, and stuff that was going on to kind of take the edge off.
Right.
So I thought that it was a really good series until the last two or three episodes of the entire series of the last season was a little dark, very dark. So I thought that was weird because I don't know if you saw the last episode of MASH, but it's very dark.
No, I didn't get a chance to see the last episode.
Yeah, it was just kind of fickle what it's always been. And so it's kind of like, well, we're going to go behind the curtain and say, okay, we've had all this laughter and everything. So final episodes, everybody's going home. But what everybody's going home is very sobering, because the war was over. And so with the war being over, the humor left with it, And so it was kind of dark, man. So I thought with the show being but they said that the ending was one of the best of all time, So you think about sitcoms, so many shows you see, series and sitcoms have bad ending, or they don't have endings at all. They just get canceled without having a proper ending.
Right. Right.
But kind of like kind of like the Jeffersons, man. You would never know what the last episode of Jeffersons was. That's how bad it was.
Right.
But you did get an ending of Good Times. So go big.
Right. The fella got out the ghetto. But yeah, man.
Yeah, man. See, you remember that round point.
Well, that's that. Well, I mean, that's the main point of the show is James getting a better job so they can get out of the ghetto, you know. But
Yeah. Man, that
yeah,
was so crazy the whole because that last thing with James getting a job and he finally got a job, but he had to move to Alaska to get a job.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, can you imagine? He had to go all the way to Alaska to get a better paying job, man.
And
Yeah.
then died.
And
Spoiler
then
alert.
yeah,
but,
well, yeah, to get the job and then die.
and
Yeah,
then
so
died on the job. God, he don't get no worse than that, man.
yeah, man.
He
So
don't get no worse than that. And all because, Norman Lear and John Amos had beef. And
yeah,
so they
they weren't
yeah,
getting along.
right. They had beef, man, and then they got
Yeah.
rid of them all together.
Well, that's what usually happens, man. Whenever you have what they say, an employee that's all of a sudden want to be rebellious, don't want to follow, don't want to stay in line, want to start getting out of line.
Man,
you,
man,
you,
he want
you
to write
know,
the show.
yeah, man. When you want to start getting out of line, man, especially with the writers the person who the show, that's when your time is gonna be start being a little limited.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's how that works.
yeah, man. They both of them had enough of each other.
Hmm.
When they called him on the phone, they told him, "Nah, you don't have to show up to work."
They're like, no, you don't have to report back. But that's like any job, all of a sudden you start, especially when you start butting heads with the boss,
Yeah,
man, it's like, eh, something got to give. So,
yeah, man.
yeah,
Some definitely got to give.
we like, it's only one boss. Remember, right? It's only one
Yeah,
boss, not
that's
two.
it.
So I'm the one calling the shots. So yeah, it happens, man. That
Yeah,
happens.
it happens, man. But at least I would say at least the network gave them an opportunity because they found out they were going to be canceled like a week or two prior.
Hmm.
So they did get a heads up. And so Norman Lear had an opportunity to just put something together real quick, which that's what it kind of seemed like anyway.
Yeah.
And they put something together real quick where they basically got out the ghetto and everybody got out the ghetto and it was
Mm.
happy and and
Yeah,
so
a good ending show, and that was it, right?
yeah, man. But
Yeah.
speaking of shows, and we gonna wrap it up. But talking about reboots, and everybody been trying to reboot Good Times forever, but just never had a chance to kind of reboot or update it. Kind of like because I think that Fresh Prince has done the best job in terms of I don't know if I can say reboot, but kind of refurbish what they've had, flip the
Mm.
script and make it modern.
Hmm.
Make it kind of a fun comedic dramedy or whatever you want, a dramedy. That's what they call it, a dramedy.
Hmm.
It's pretty cool. And so they have a different world that's coming back. That's going to be another reboot where they're going to fast forward different world, and it's going to be centered around Whitley and Dwayne's daughter. They've already started filming,
Okay.
and so I don't know. It may be the premise of her being in school or her life or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that
And
should
they're
be
gonna make some
pretty.
cameos. Yeah,
That should be pretty interesting.
yeah. So we'll see. Debbie Allen's still gonna be the executive producer with some more people around. So with Debbie Allen's hand in it, I trust she will do the right thing.
Yeah.
As long as the networks don't get in the way.
Right.
So
Right.
if they stay on, like, I don't know, they could probably stream that. They should probably do that on Netflix. Netflix does a pretty good job. I don't even know if I trust that be on network television.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see on that, man. But that's all I got. Hope.
All right. All right.
We're gonna wrap it on up. We do the best. And until next week, same time, same channel. Brandon Holmes Show. Speak on it.
Speak on it.